What's up YouTube, Jamie the Kid 00 here, back as promised with my wind-up deck profile. This is probably the final build I'm going to go with. Well, there are a few kind of proxy dish cards that I would run in place of other cards, but I'll explain those when I get to them. This is probably the deck that I will run for Battle of the Kingdoms. Of course, it's still subject to testing. I'm going to be playing a lot on Dueling Network this week. So if you see me on there, Jamie the Kid 00, feel free to add me as a friend, send me some messages, ask me for a game. I'm always open to meeting my subscribers and playtesting against you guys. Either way, I'm going to get into the deck profile. As I said, this is wind-ups. This is my take on it. It's a bit different from some other people's, but I'll explain those as I go along. First up, I play one Wind-Up Rabbit. Wind-Up Rabbit is awesome, especially when you're trying to get your combos to go off, because this is awesome for dodging around Effect Veiler and things like that. Very helpful in that regard. I only liked playing it at 1, because a lot of people have been running it at 3. I feel at 3 it would clog like hell, but at 1 it gives you... It's available for searching with your factories and things like that. It's recyclable by various methods in the deck. But ultimately, I felt that only having the 1 in the deck was fine, simply because I could seek it out when I needed it, when I was setting up. I wouldn't want to have 2 in hand and not have something else. But either way, 1 is awesome, sets off your factories, protects you from Veiler, awesome card. Love it. I agree with you guys. Play 1 Wind-Up Kitten. Loads of people don't play this. I love it because it is an out to anything. You're in a tough spot, drop Magician, drop your Shark, and get this instead of Hunter, and it can get rid of any opposing monster on the field and solve your problem. And then you can go into a Utopia or a Zen Meister off of the Shark and Magician. Things like that. It's just a great out. And if you've drawn it into hand, drop it. Great. You've solved your problem. I play the 1 Hunter because 1 Hunter is all you need for the loop. 1 Hunter. I play 3 Wind-Up Shark because Shark is awesome, so recyclable in this deck. Absolutely amazing card. Konami shouldn't have given us this. Makes the deck come alive. Makes so many rank 5s really easily. Just I could praise that card all day. 3 Wind-Up Rats, your essential tour guide from the grave. Ultimately, this card is essential for your loop. In late game, this card can get you all sorts of pluses, all sorts of easy rank 3s and things like that. And it can even lead into other Shark plays from the hand, factory plays, all sorts of crazy stuff like that. You use this to, say, revive a Shark. Just reading this. Yeah, you special summon in defense position, and, of course, the monster that it special summons can get its effect. So you use this. Use your factory to get the monster, all sorts of crazy stuff like that. And then that monster can use its effect if you should need it. So Kitten, absolutely crazy card. I'm kind of dawdling on a bit. I should really speed up this video. Otherwise, I run 3 Magician. Yes, I'm aware these can clog as well, but I feel the Magician is something that's worth allowing to clog because it can give you so many plays as long as you hit into your Sharks. And this deck runs so much searchability and recycling for the Sharks, you're almost always going to have one when you have a Magician in play. So that's all that needs to be said about these. They let the hand loop go off turn 1. It's so much easier. You've got to run 3 of them simply for the hand loop. Next up, I run 3 Tour Guides from the Underworld. Again, another card which lets the hand loop go off crazily easy. If you draw into the Tour Guide engine or one of the 3 Magicians, you're set because you can go one of these, and a Shark. You drop one of these or the Magician. Drop either if you drop Magician, then drop Shark, or make a Zen Mighty out of the resultant Tour Guide Sangan. Drop the Shark, and you can go into your loop from there. You can do absolutely crazy stuff with that. And of course, then I run the Tour Bus to give you an extra cycle of loopage, an extra card from the opponent's hand, and of course the Sangan, because if you draw into it, hey, you can set it and search. Moving on to the hand traps, I play 2 Effect Veiler. I'm not a fan of the 1 Veiler 3 Maxi format. Sorry, I got a bit distracted. So I prefer to play the 2 Veiler and 2 Maxi. This Battle Fader is actually proxying the second Maxi. I'm going to be borrowing one at the next tournament. So at Battle of the Kingdoms, so I will be playing 2. I don't like having 3, because if I come up against Insectors or things that Maxi is useless against, all of a sudden I have 3 dead cards in deck. And I'd much rather have these. I mean, they're useful against wind-ups as well. It makes the deck a lot more versatile against rogue decks and against things that you just don't see coming. So I much prefer to play 2 Veiler, 2 Maxi than 3 in 1. And then otherwise I play 1 Gauze and 1 BLS. I only play 2 lights in main deck but the BLS is made live by the fact that I run Giga Brilliant in the extra, and this deck can so readily make it. So if I draw into this, I can then begin to set up by making Brilliant. So it makes him he's incredibly live in the deck. Moving on to spells, I run 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Book of Moon, 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. Onto the kind of different stuff from staples, I run 3 Wind-Up Factories. Well, these are a staple for this deck, but they're not a staple for every deck, obviously. These cards are absolutely broken with the current stuff that we've got. Nothing else I can say. Just card advantage, card advantage, card advantage. You'd use those to search off of your sharks, which you can then even further abuse by running 2 salvages in the deck. The fact that you can go into a rank 5 Xyz, or any rank, rank 3, rank 4, rank 5, dump, when that rank dies, you can dump these, get those 2 sharks back, and then just easily make another one. Easy plays, absolute great card. I'd run it at 2 simply because the searchability and things like that, you can just focus on playing shark for the whole game. And it also synergizes with some of my side deck. And finally I play Pot of Avarice, because you draw this, you're dumping your opponent's entire hand, turn 1. Great. Onto the traps, I run 1 Fiendish Chain and 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device. I'd play 2 Fiendish Chain, but I don't have 2 Fiendish Chain. I'm looking for a second one, so hit me up quickly, guys, because I need it by the end of the week. Compulse does its job. Again, I'd much rather have this, because your opponent could just drop the monster again, turn 2. This Fiendish Chain does its job, Compulse does its job, nothing else I can really say. You guys know how hyped they are at the moment. Otherwise, I run 1 Torrential Tribute, because it's torrential, and the Solemn Brigade, and 2 Solemn Warnings, and the Solemn Judgment. Just because you've got to have summon negation if the game just doesn't go your way. Onto the extra deck. This is pretty damn standard. We have the token for Gauze, which you couldn't even see. 1 Leviathan Dragon. 2 Leviaires, in case chain disappearance happens, or if I use my own, I can start abusing my opponent's monsters from it. Sorry, I have a blocked nose. I'm a wee bit poorly. I play 1 Giga Brilliant for BLS, making BLS live. I play 1 Utopia, because it's Utopia. That's it for the staples, the staple extra decks. There are no synchros in this extra. I would play synchros, but I felt I needed the room in the extra. I also play 1 Zen Mains, 3 Carrier Zen Mighty, because you've just got to. 1 Zen Meister, and then onto the really cool... This is still really awesome. I really like this card because you can recycle so much stuff. It's a really awesome card. Then onto the awesome rank 5s in the form of Wind-Up Zen Mayo, Adrius, Keeper of Armageddon, and Tyrus, Keeper of Genesis. These 3 cards are your outs to almost everything, and with the cyclability of Sharks through Salvage, these cards are always live, they're always makeable, they're absolutely amazing. Definitely got to run the deck with these cards. Sorry, my battery nearly ran out there. And then finally I run 1 Chimera Tech because it gives me an extra space in the side deck. Moving on to the side quickly, I play 2 Thunder King Ryos, because Thunder King is Thunder King, and he's awesome for setting up against just other wind-up decks, synchro decks, Xyz decks, anything that special summons big monsters really quickly. These guys are amazing. Next up I play 2 Cyber Dragons, because it shuts down machines and shuts down some wind-up decks that leave their monsters on the field for making Chimera Tech. Again, staples. Next up I play 2 Snowman Eaters, because they synergize so well with my salvages. I much prefer these over Rykos, because I don't want to end up milling my rats or my things for the loop. So these are much better than Rykos in this deck. But normally I prefer Rykos. Next up I run 1 Crow. That's quite simply Crow for Insectors, things like that. For Insectors and Wind Up Mirror Match, I play 3 Chain Disappearances, and just anything that runs small monsters, so I even forget other decks that run cards like that. I haven't really put that many outs to Rabbit in here, now that I've looked at it, so I need to work on outs to Rabbit. I completely forgot about Rabbit when I was building this side. But Thunder King kind of works against Rabbit, so that'll do. But yeah, 3 Chain Dis. I suppose a couple of those would work against Rabbit because of the tour guys, but mainly want to focus on Rabbit. Then finally I run 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, because if I come up against Insectors, these cards will kill the deck dead. I'm fully aware that Tour Guide is a dark and Hunter is a dark, but ultimately if I'm playing Insectors, these will hurt Insectors far more than it'll hurt me, and I can play around this with my deck. So ultimately I will run these at 3, I will always side them in at 3 against Insectors. And then finally against Rogue and Chainbird and everything like that, I play 2 Royal Decree. Okay then guys, this has been my wind-up deck profile for Battle of the Kingdoms. well, hopefully for Battle of the Kingdoms. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me anything you'd change, anything I can improve. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the comment box below. Have a good one.